Habit, a learned behavior pattern that is repeated regularly until it's become automatic. Automatic is the key word here because habits can occur on autopilot, meaning we are not always consciously aware that we are doing them. Studies have found that approximately 45% of our daily activities are habitual. Whether it's hitting the snooze button, checking social media, or closing the closet door at night, our lives are largely driven by habit, and once we get going, we can do them with minimal to no thinking at all. Learning how to drive for the first time can be quite mentally tasking. Because actions like switching from the brake to the gas and making turns are not yet familiar, each one requires conscious processing. This takes place in an area of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for complex thought. But after practicing for enough time, you no longer have to think about each individual action. Driving has become a habit, and is now controlled by many different areas of the brain. One area linked to habit formation is the striatum, which is a cluster of neurons located in the basal ganglia deep within the brain. To study what happens when the brain forms a habit, researchers placed a rat in front of a T-shaped maze with a chocolate reward at one end. When the door clicks open, the rat explores a new territory and eventually finds the chocolate. During the early stages of learning the maze, special neurons in the striatum fired continuously throughout the task. However, after going through the maze hundreds of times, the rat learns how to directly get to the chocolate as soon as the door clicks. Brain activity in the striatum becomes clustered at the very beginning and at the very end of the task, with little activity in the middle. This process of grouping task-related behaviors into an automatic routine is called chunking. Imagine having to consciously think about picking up the toothbrush, squeezing on toothpaste, and brushing your teeth every single morning. We'd get overwhelmed fairly easily. Automating behaviors in the form of chunking actually allows the brain to become more efficient. By lowering the brain's processing requirements for a task, habits help save our mental energy for more demanding tasks, like wondering if a hot dog is really just a sandwich. Every habit starts with a habit loop, which is made up of 3 parts. A cue is something that triggers a behavior. For example, a location, a time of day, or an emotional state. A behavior is the action performed upon receiving the cue. It can be physical, mental, or emotional. The behavior is followed by a reward, which tells the brain if the habit is worth remembering or repeating in the future. Let's apply the habit loop to your morning cup of coffee. In this case, the morning time of day is the cue for you to make coffee, which is the behavior. The reward is the stimulating effect of caffeine on the nervous system. Some habits become so deeply embedded in our brains that we keep doing them even though they're no longer beneficial. Biases towards certain habitual actions can lead to compulsive behavioral disorders such as OCD, Tourette's syndrome, and substance abuse. Bad habits like drinking or overspending involve the neurotransmitter dopamine, which is a crucial chemical in the brain's reward system. It turns out that once the brain associates a task with a reward, dopamine is released before you even perform the behavior. This creates a craving, which is why habits are so hard to break. Although cravings make habits extremely powerful, that's not to say that bad habits are impossible to break. Instead of erasing a bad habit altogether, the key is to create a new routine, one that uses the same cue but replaces the behavior with something that will achieve a similar reward. For example, take the stairs instead of the elevator whenever you have to go up a few floors in a building. We humans are indeed creatures of habit, but with enough willpower, consistency, and patience, we also have the ability to swap our bad tendencies for good, improving our lives one habit at a time.